CBS News Miami.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Naja Sherman, and welcome to CBS News Miami's 4 p.m. Quickcast. Let's take a look at today's top stories. Some big news for educators and school staff as the 2023 academic year approaches. Earlier today, the United Teachers of Dade announced a pay increase for teachers, counselors, and other school employees. Teachers will now have a starting salary of more than $52,000. That's nearly 10% increases from their previous rate. Educational support professionals will receive an up to 6% raise. Counselors and school psychologists will receive up to a 10% raise. The United Teachers of Dade president says this is a big leap forward.
This is a strong contract. We could not have done this without our collective efforts, without the union, without people understanding how important it is to have working conditions and to have access to negotiations. And of course, we could not have done this without our community who supported us with the referendum.
Teachers seeking advanced degrees will also receive added compensation to their salaries.
Yeah, so Chief Ramirez is a very strong man. He's continuing his recovery, and we're all continuing our prayers for him and his family. We know he'll pull through this.
And we have new information on the 911 call that was made just hours before Miami-Dade Police Director Freddy Ramirez shot himself. The call was made by security at a downtown Tampa hotel where Ramirez and his wife were staying. CBS News Miami's Jacqueline Quinn has the very latest developments.
The 911 audio reveals that multiple people saw the director with a gun and in some kind of argument with his wife. Was very tense, and now we know all of this didn't end there at the hotel.
I've got somebody who's is supposedly in the front drive with a gun.
Our news partners at the Miami Herald obtained the Sunday evening 911 call from the Marriott Hotel in Tampa, where Freddy Ramirez and his wife were staying. Hotel security tells police dispatch that guests made the initial reports.
Guests that were walking from the outside into the hotel said that there was a man in the drive with a gun.
Tampa police arrived to find the couple who reportedly had a heated altercation. They were questioned but not detained. However, the hotel asked them to leave.
Freddie told me he had made a mistake, that he was prepared to resign.
Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Levine Cava revealed she spoke to Ramirez Sunday night. She did not elaborate on what Ramirez said he did wrong.
He was very remorseful, and I reassured him that we would talk the following morning.
They never had that conversation. While driving home from Tampa with his wife, Ramirez pulled over on I-75.
Around mile marker 244. The preliminary, and I say preliminary, investigation shows Director Ramirez suffered from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
After learning what happened, Mayor Levine Cava flew to the hospital where Ramirez was being treated.
I'm glad that we were able to be by his side in this time of darkness, as together we hope to see some light.
The Florida Department of Law Enforcement now continues to dig deeper into what happened as Miami-Dade leaders move forward.
This is sad. This is sad. Because Freddie wasn't just a colleague, he's a friend.
In a more hopeful prospect, Ramirez's condition seems to be improving.
Every day that he is recovering, he is continuing to regain his strength. He's now alert, awake, and responsive.
2 people have been named to fill the positions that Freddy Ramirez held. Stephanie Daniels will now be the interim Miami-Dade police director. She was the deputy director there. And then J.D. Patterson, he will now be the interim director of public safety. Prior to this, he was the director of corrections and forensics for the department. I'm Jacqueline Quinn, CBS News, Miami.
This is a Next Weather Alert from CBS News Miami.
And it is a next weather alert day. Miami-Dade and Broward counties are under a flood watch. The Next Weather Radar Network shows more storms are moving across South Florida. Next Weather meteorologist Cindy Pressler tracking all those details.
Yeah, rain is definitely going to be the big story here. And the National Weather Service has now extended the flood watch. That will end now tomorrow at noontime because the ground is saturated. We've picked up another 1 to 4 inches of rain today in spots, not everyone, but in spots. And it's because we've got a tropical wave wave that is pushing lots of moisture across South Florida. So these showers and thunderstorms, they've been slow moving today. They've dropped some heavy rain. We've had a couple of flood advisories. Those have all now been canceled. These storms have now moving off into the ones up here in Broward are moving northward into the Palm Beach County area, but you can see a little bit of lightning there just to the north of Coral Springs. But we've got some more to the south. That particular storm dropped as much as 4 inches of rain near Hard Rock Stadium, Miami Lakes, the Opelika area, and then to the south in Miami-Dade. We've had a line of thunderstorms here as well. We did have a flood advisory. That has also been canceled, but another 1 to 3 inches has fallen with that line, and a lot of that heavy rain has been out in the Everglades. But we still have so much moisture coming in south of the Keys, so this line will move to the north. Will this break apart yet this evening? There's still a possibility. We could see a few showers yet, but overall, because we've had so much rain, the ground just can't take much more, so it will cause some low-lying flooding. So rain totals another 1 to 3 inches between tonight and tomorrow morning. These same areas, again, eastern Broward County and all of Miami-Dade counties are in that flood watch. So temperatures down today because we've had the rain and the clouds. So right now it's down to 82 degrees. High today so far has only been 89 degrees. So this may be another one of those below average days. We've only had one so far this month. Today might be another one. But because we have moisture in the atmosphere, it still feels like it's around 90 degrees. So it is very sticky out there. Let's time it out for you. So for this evening, our model guidance does not want to give us a whole lot of rain. There could be a spot shower here and there, but overall it looks like it's going to be fairly dry. And then tomorrow afternoon, again, with that southeasterly flow, showers and storms developing near the coast, moving inland over the interior areas and toward the west coast by the afternoon. We're even going to see a few again on Saturday, not as much, but a few. Most of that is going to go to the interior area, but our rain chances will be high tomorrow, coming down as we head into the weekend. So passing storms tomorrow, again, making that same direction, heading off to the north and west, drier and hotter as we move into next week. Our temperatures will be back in the mid-90s again. Hopefully we won't see any records, but you never know. But rain chances will be coming down, and that's going to allow all that heat and that humidity to continue to be across South Florida. So here's your forecast. We're looking at a high tomorrow around 90 degrees, temperatures in the low to mid-90s next week.
All right, Cindy, thank you. Now to the Hunter Biden plea deal. The agreement to end Hunter Biden's legal troubles is now on hold. CBS News Miami's Catherine Herridge has the report.
Hunter Biden arrived at a federal courthouse in Delaware ready to end a 5-year criminal investigation. The president's son is pleading guilty to 2 misdemeanor counts of willful failure to pay federal income tax. Under the deal, a 3rd charge of possession of a handgun by a drug user will be dismissed if Hunter Biden remains drug-free and commits no additional crimes for 2 years.
Judges have wide discretion in how they handle these plea agreements. In some cases, they could accept it full on. In other cases, they could make changes. And in yet other cases, they could just reject it out of hand.
In an unusual step, the Republican chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee wrote to the judge asking her to hold off on agreeing to the deal in order to consider the testimony of IRS whistleblowers who claim their probe was blocked and the evidence supports felony tax charges.
Judges, like all people, read the papers, watch television, and so I'm sure she's aware of what's been unfolding at those whistleblower hearings.
Republicans say they want to hear directly from the prosecutor who recommended the plea deal. They're calling for him to testify before Congress.
You've got IRS whistleblowers saying something when it comes to government treating the Bidens different.
U.S. Attorney David Weiss, a Trump appointee, says he is willing to testify. Weiss has also told Congress in writing that he had the ultimate authority on the case. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Wilmington, Delaware.
Some close encounters on Capitol Hill, and these ones involve UFOs. The stunning claims made by the military when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. Trump's attorneys met with federal prosecutors in Washington, D.C. this morning. This comes as Trump faces a 3rd criminal indictment. It's related to the January 6th probe. In this case, special counsel Jack Smith and a grand jury had been investigating attempts to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power. It was after the 2020 presidential election. Governor Ron DeSantis is facing more backlash. It is over the growing controversy in the state's new education standards. Civil rights leaders say they see a pattern of policy violence by defending the new slavery teachings. It requires middle school students to be instructed that enslaved people, quote, develop skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit. The comment has drawn a lot of pushback from educators, civil rights leaders, and the White House. President Biden is set to announce new measures. It's to help address the recent heat wave. The president will ask the Department of Labor to issue a hazard alert. It would help protect workers against the extreme heat. Biden is also set to announce $7 million in funding under the Inflation Reduction Act. It will improve weather forecasting, among other things. Nationwide, about 140 million people are under heat alerts.
Miami Proud is presented by FPL. FPL is ready for storm season. Are you? Get ready at fpl.com/storm.
Living on the streets is a reality for more than 27,000 people in Florida. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development ranks Florida third in the nation for homelessness. CBS News Miami's Chelsea Jones shares how two programs are working together to help people who are homeless. It is this week's Miami Proud.
This is a table full of grocery bags. In your home, you probably have some just like these stored away in a nook or cranny. But at Covenant Living of Florida, these bags are being put to better use.
Rather than sleeping on hard concrete or benches, they're sleeping on these mats that are more comfortable.
Once a week on Friday mornings, residents come together and turn these bags into plarn, a combination of plastic and yarn.
You work to get a roll of this about the size of a soccer ball. Once you get the roll about that big, then you can sit down at your leisure and begin crocheting.
With roughly 650 bags, a 2.5-foot wide and 6-foot long mat is created, and the impact is already being seen.
He said, let me tell you a story about myself. One of your mats saved my life.
Don Roth says while getting out of his car one day, he met a man who was unemployed and homeless, but these mats changed his life.
And he said, believe it or not, the ability to sleep on something soft that's not wet. I felt somebody cared enough to make a mat for me. It gave me a totally different perspective on life.
That man now has a job and a place to live. And that's the whole purpose. The folks here at Covenant Living collect bags at their facility and then sit down and craft mats before they're donated to Hope South Florida, an organization that works to rehabilitate the homeless population. A service done in faith by people who are simply spending quality time together for the greater good.
We have wonderful relationships and do things together that makes life much more enjoyable.
I'm Chelsea Jones, CBS News, Miami.
Now that is very cool. A former military intelligence officer turned whistleblower told lawmakers that Congress is being kept in the dark about UFOs. Lawmakers heard from 3 witnesses. That includes former U.S. military and intelligence community personnel. They claim to have come in contact with the objects. The witnesses say that executive branch agencies withheld information about UFOs for years. That's your Quickcast. I'm Naja Sherman. Hope you are having a wonderful day, and stay tuned for more news right here on CBS News Miami.